Welcome everyone, Bill Dow here, and in this video I want to talk about PMO Resource Turnover. So if you've been watching my videos for a while, you know I cover both PMO and project management. The context of this video is really around PMO leadership. So what do you do from a resource turnover from a PMO leadership perspective? Does that make sense? I just want to set that context so there's no confusion. Okay, let's get going. I love this topic, right? It's such a hot topic and it's such a difficult one. When we get PMO resource turnover, we really have to sit back and understand why. Why are resources leaving us, right? What makes sense and why do they want to leave, right? The bigger question, and of course it's an obvious one, but why is this such a problem for PMO leaders? Well, let me get into that now. First, what I'm seeing is PMOs are losing resources at a level that we've not seen before prior to year 2000. I was running PMOs in the Y2K timeframe. Project managers were leaving PMOs overnight, right? An extra $1 or $2 an hour, they would leave. We're starting to see that turnover as well. We're not only seeing project managers, we're seeing business analysts, we're seeing tools people. So we're just seeing at alarming rates, PMO resources are turning over. And it's a huge problem for PMO leaders, right? Because it has such impacts on your organization and the programs and projects that are running in your organization. Number two, employee turnover is expensive. It's costly, right? It's costly to any organization when you lose a resource and you have to hire a new one and ramp that new one up, right? When project managers have 2 to 3 projects, for example, that they're managing and they leave, well, who do those projects go to? How do we quickly get a project manager in place to ramp up on 2 to 3 new projects? So again, it slows down projects, it's costly, it extends timelines, there's new dynamics that we have to get for the team members when a new project manager takes over. So over and over again, there's lots of concerns with project managers leaving. Number 3, the number of projects coming at project managers, right? And they feel like there's no end in sight. So we often see our PMO resources leaving because they just don't get a break, right? So they're leaving for maybe more relaxed environments or where their pressure of projects are not the same as in the current one that they're in now. Right? The grass is always greener, so is what they say, right? Better pay, better stock options, better, just work-life balance than your organization when we know that may or may not be true, but that's why they're leaving. And that's why it's such a huge problem for PMO managers. It's interesting, right? But why is that? Why are we in this situation anyway? Well, let me give you some of my opinions on why I think we are. And again, I've been doing this for over 30 years, managing PMOs for over 20 years. So, I've seen this before, but let me just jump into why I think we're in this situation. First, companies are forcing project managers back into the office. After 3+ years, PMs are leaving in groves compared to other companies who are saying you want to run your projects remotely, you want to stay remote, just stay remote. This remote versus in-person discussion is impacting hundreds of companies around the world, and we're seeing high turnover because employees are not going to go back in the office. Project managers can manage projects from anywhere, and they know that, and they're going to companies that will embrace this remote option. Project loads on project managers are often unmanageable, and they're put in positions where they can't succeed. So they're just saying, I'm out, I'm leaving, I'm not going to work in this type of environment when I got 25 projects I need to manage. It just won't work. And so again, we see them leaving. Number 3, when project managers work for non-project management experienced managers, so a manager who's never managed a project before, this puts them in a tremendously difficult position, right? And they're saying, I'm out. They can't help them from a day-to-day perspective. If their manager, functional hire fire managers, never managed a project before, how can they possibly help a project manager navigate through some of the complex project decisions? So when project managers, especially experienced ones, get into that spot, they're like, I'm out. I'm frustrated. I got no one I can turn to. I'm not dealing with this anymore. I've seen that happen a lot as well. Does that make sense? Would you agree? And have you seen some of these scenarios before? Okay, if we know that's happening, what can we do about it? And how do we stop that from occurring? Let's get into that now. Number one, we have to stop this remote versus in-person conversation. Project managers have been working remotely since Y2K. That trend is not stopping anytime soon. I've had several project managers work from coffee shops, lead go-lives from remote buildings, right? You do not have to be in the office from a pure project manager perspective. If you want to stick to those antiquated thoughts of forcing everyone into the office, you're going to lose good people. I'm telling you, you're going to lose good people. We're seeing it now. You're really going to have to get out of this remote versus in-person conversation. Number two, ensure you're supporting your project managers and all of your PMO resources as much as possible. Make sure you have the right load balance. Make sure they have the right management structure in place. Make sure they have the right training in place, right? Don't ask someone to do something if they don't have the right training or the right background. It just makes everyone frustrated and it makes them want to leave. And there are so many jobs right now. People are leaving in groves. Number three, keep a constant check on the pulse of your employees throughout the year. Performance reviews happen once a year, but you've got to be constantly checking, making sure that they're fine, making sure that they're in a happy spot and that they're satisfied with their role, right? Do what you can financially for them. Give them merit increases. Give them bonuses if that's possible. Some people are just not motivated by finances. So you're going to have to look at other ways to motivate people. But as a PMO leader, you need to figure out how people are motivated. Would you agree? Does that make sense? Let me ask you, and again, please comment below. But is your company losing resources to the Great Resignation? Are you guys seeing high turnover? Are there any tricks that you're willing to share in the comments below? Because I'd love to learn from you as well, right? I think that really would be helpful. What do you think? Does that make sense? I don't think the US is that different from other companies and countries around the world that are also in this situation where we're seeing such high turnover of the resources, and hopefully some of these tips can really keep some of your better resources and keep them aligned and keep them happy and fulfilled with the jobs they're doing. Just a quick reminder, if you like this content and you like these types of stories and you like these types of videos, please like the video, subscribe, hit the little bell button, and I'd really appreciate it. And what's even more important, doing all that is great, but go watch my next video on PMO Resource Capacity Planning. It'll be right here on my channel. You can just click it and keep watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'll see you online. Thanks.